All right, rock and roll. Welcome to the Scorched Earth Political Podcast. I am your host, John. And if you could, hit that like and subscribe button. We're getting more subscribers every day, and we deeply appreciate it. And here we try to get a little more honest and a little more raw view of what's going on in the world of politics. The story we're really going to focus on tonight is the Elon and Trump war. And I literally have listened and seen so many media outlets, and I really think they are missing the true issue of what is going on here. And we're going to get into it. We welcome all friend and foe, sinner and saint. And we're taking no prisoners, telling no lies. And hey, this is going to be the episode where we do burn it down to the ground. So it seems like the bromance between Donald Trump and Elon Musk is over. Oh, Romeo and Juliet. Uh, shed a tear, shed a tear. And it's time for me to go get some popcorn and just watch how this all plays out, right? Because they are fighting like the Kardashians. This is real. This is powerful people at the top of the food chain. And it reminds me of something out of Game of Thrones, the Battle of the Bastards, right? We're getting, in today's riveting episode, we're getting Jon Snow, aka Elon, when he treated the Trump tariffs will cause a recession in the second half of the year. Oops, not good. Then added that Trump should be impeached. We're going to get to that a little bit later. Then we have, I got to tell you something. That ketamine, that must have been on overdrive yesterday because he sent out over 55 tweets. This cat was going. I mean, I hope he didn't get carpal thumb, right? Trump, who is, let's call him Ramsey Bolton, he retorted that they are going to terminate SpaceX contracts, EV credits, things like that. All right, so let's figure out where we got to on this situation. Elon left the White House last Friday, okay? And back then, in that long, long time ago, 1 week, they were so sad to go apart. Oh, I've already done all I could here with Doge, and Donald Trump said goodbye. Of course, that incredibly insightful New York Times article had come out that day talking about Elon's drug use, microdosing, mushrooms, ketamine. He was actually wetting his own pants. I don't know. Did they share a pack of Depends? I don't know between him and Trump. I look, I'm just the conduit. Okay, I'm just the conduit. Don't attack me. Well, if you want to attack me, go ahead. Leave it in the comments. I'll bring it. Bring your A game, everybody. Okay. So he left in a very moving ceremony. Trump actually gave him some stupid little key and said, "Oh, you got the key to the White House. You're always welcome back. We need you." Blah 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 blah. And like the Pink Panther, exit stage left. Right? Yeah, didn't quite work out that way. So Trump has been pushing the big, beautiful bill, but part of that is they are going to eliminate EV credits. Let's just get up to date on what's going on here. The EV is one. Okay. They have BYD electric vehicles in China that are $8,000. Amazing, amazing technological vehicles. Okay. The cheapest EV vehicle we have in America is the Nissan Leaf, which is $29,000. Now, Biden protected the EV market here with EV credits and also huge tariffs not to allow BYD to come into America and basically destroy Tesla and Ford and GM and Stellantis. Okay, and I applaud it. Okay, I want to keep as much manufacturing of high ticket items in America as we can, right? Well, Trump comes in, we're going to up the tariffs, we're going to play that game. And because of the uncertainty, you're starting to see the first quarter of this year, because of his tariffs, GDP went down. Now, a recession is if we have two consecutive quarters of negative GDP. And it's trending. It looks like we're going to have it here, and we're going to find out the numbers in about a month and a half. So he left the office, and he came out today with a barrage of attacks on the big, beautiful bill, but also on Donald Trump personally. And I'm going to tell you something nobody else is going to tell you. You are the smartest audience in the world, okay? That's why I'm sharing it with you. Okay, you can impress your friends, family, whoever you want. A date tonight on Friday. God bless, we're on Friday. With your incredible acumen and intelligence. When I tell you this, and this is something nobody else is going to say, what has been happening to Tesla? Their sales are going off a cliff throughout Europe, throughout America. The only reason they squeaked out a minuscule profit is because they sold those EV credits. For every Tesla they sell, they get $7,500 from the government. Okay, it's a voucher that you can redeem. Well, what they've been doing is selling those $7,500 vouchers to Ford, into GM, and Stellantis. That's how they turned a profit. If you look at their metrics, their stock is trading at 24 times their PPE. What the hell does that mean, John? That means earnings. Okay, what they're earning, the return on what's going on with the vehicle. Ford and GM are somewhere around 2 to 3 times what their earnings are. Okay, so why is there such a huge difference? Because everybody is enamored with this so-called goddamn genius who's Elon Musk, right? So his company is crumbling. He came in, he did Doge, he didn't do anything. It was an epic failure. Going to save $2 trillion. Now I'm going to save $1 trillion. Now I'm going to save 160 billion. Now I'm going to save 65 billion. And last Monday, the White House submitted the savings to Congress to approve for the next year, and it was 7 billion. 7 billion. 1/10 of 1% of the federal budget. Real good job. Real good job. So now he went in there, he cost 121,000 jobs, and honestly, he didn't even save 7 billion because he cut 40% of the IRS staff, and the projections are, we're not going to know this till next year, we are going to lose anywhere between 400 billion and 600 billion in tax revenue. Because basically what happens is all the rich people go, oh, there ain't anybody at the IRS, we can ramp up the cheating. Instead of me paying 10 million in taxes, I'm going to just cheat, pay 6 million. That's what's going on, right? Me and you, the average people, we're scared. We're intimidated. The rich people aren't. It's just going to be a fine. It's like Tom Cruise in The Firm, where he's talking to the guy and he's like, this is the way you need to make a tax haven. The guy's like, I don't know. And he goes, look, if you don't do it, you're an idiot. Because all that's going to happen is they're going to just come around later in 3 or 4 years and go, you owe this amount of money. And they're not going to give you any penalties because they're going to be so goddamn happy to get their money. Exactly. That's how rich people work. That's how rich people work, right? So now Elon is out here on the island. His company is cascading. He's been cut loose from the administration. And what does he got to do? He's got to get back in with the Democrats. Democrats, progressives, whatever you want to call it, buy 80% of Teslas in America and Europe. Okay? The Republicans have been telling us for 15 years, all these EVs are stupid. We want to go back to the horse and buggy. Yeah, that's what an enlightened party they are, right? The liberals have been looking at, I want to save the earth. I want to make a cleaner future. I want to actually have a planet around for my kids and my grandkids. Oh, you crazy liberals. You stupid son of a guns. Trying to save the planet. It's all about making every dollar. That's all that matters. Let's get some more coal burning. Yeah, exactly. Right? So, now he is pissed off his base. He's pissed off his base. Now, you sit there and go, well, how do you get it back? How do you get the street cred? And everybody is got this big, let's just call it what it is. They got this big hard on because they want him and his political money. He gave 275 million, I think it was higher, but let's just say 275 million to President Trump last year in his election campaign. He won. He gave $29 million to that failed Supreme Court justice over in Wisconsin in March. Sorry, idiot. How's that money looking? And the Democrats want him back. Oh, we want him back. They don't really care about that ketamine idiot, but they want his money for political campaigns. They're, make no mistake, whether it's Republican or it's Democrat, they just want the money. and they want to use our labor and make more money on that. Okay? All the Democrats want is a war chest. They want a war chest. They look over at these billionaires who cut checks for $50, $100 million. You know, MoveOn.org is nice, and we get these, small donors, and they've done a really nice job. But one billionaire, an Adelson, a Thiel, a Musk, can just eviscerate everything we want to give. Straight up. We don't have that kind of power. So what do they want to do? They want to get the richest man in the world back in the fold. Ooh, jeez. What does he want? He wants to get his customers back. He doesn't want to see Tesla go down the goddamn drain. Right? And besides, we also know one other thing. All the Democratic girls, they're a lot hotter than the Republican ones. Well, there's some exceptions, right? But at the end of the day, he's trying to save his company. And how do you do that? You go after the big fish. You go after Donald Trump. This bill sucks. Well, I'm sure it's a big part because the EV credits, and also because it just destroys the national debt, all the things the Republicans said they weren't going to do. And he can get street cred with the Democrats, with me and you. He's not such a bad guy. He went in there, he was disillusioned, he wanted to save the government. We're going to hear all that bullshit out of the PR people, right? About what a good guy he is, and he didn't understand he was being misled, and the thing, his name isn't on anything. Oh, there's some lady from, I think it's Iowa or Illinois, who's quote unquote the head of Doge. Yeah, right. His name ain't on anything. What do you think? You think he wasn't thinking this down the road if things went sideways? Hey, nothing to see here. Oh, sorry. Later. Okay? All right. There we go. So then he tweeted, and I'm telling you, he's only doing this so he can curry favor back into the fold for the Democrats. So we could start buying his stupid cars. And I'm telling you this, as a Democrat, do not buy that Cybertruck. Please do not. I don't know if we can be friends if you pull up in a Cybertruck. Just telling you right now. Get a scooter. Get a skateboard. That Cybertruck's stupid. It looks like a trash can on wheels. We've all seen the memes, right? Then Musk really doubled down when somebody tweeted, let's just call it tweet, I don't know what the stupid thing is on X, said that Trump should be impeached and for J.D. Vance to replace him. At that moment, when that tweet came out, Elon couldn't get down quick enough. He said yes. Now, a lot of people were excited about that. J.D. Vance put on another line of eyeliner, got the darker color because, the presidential cameras are a lot more high def than the vice president cameras. And honestly, this might be the first day that the Trump presidency is really authentic. Why do you say that, John? I'm going to tell you, thank you. Is because it's not a Trump presidency until he starts getting impeached. I mean, I don't even know. You know who didn't get impeached? Oh, yeah, that was Joe Biden. Oh, sorry. Not sorry. Joe was a good guy. Maybe a little vacant up there upstairs, but he was a good human being. Donald Trump and Elon Musk. The president said he was very disappointed in Musk's criticism of his big, beautiful bill. They are trying to push this across the line. And look, I don't want you to throw up in your own mouth, but this bill is going to pass. The Republicans have to go all in. Because where do they go if it doesn't pass? They've got to. And all the fiscal hawks and all the conservatives, they all go away. When it comes time to really vote, one or two going to show up. It's the same bullshit I heard when they were doing the Supreme Court. Oh, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, they're going to stop it. They're not going to go for Amy Coney Barrett. They're not going to go for Brett Kavanaugh. Bullshit and then bullshit. At the end of the day, they act all tough until it comes time to put a vote, and then they do it, and then they try and wash their hands. Susan Collins. Oh, I didn't know they'd overrule or overturn Roe v. Wade. F you. Literally, a second grader in Maine would know that. Think about that idiot getting reelected next year. Jesus Christ. I mean, isn't there a moose that can primary her? I mean, really, I think a moose has a better brain capacity than Susan effing Collins of Maine. All right. So then, after Trump talked about how disappointed he was, he's actually, for the first time I've seen him, he's actually the moderate in these little exchanges. Usually he's the guy who goes down and starts really attacking what goes down. You know, Ted Cruz, oh, your wife's ugly and fat. You know, I mean, he went after, he goes after, Mitch McConnell's wife. He goes after everybody. Here he just very disappointed. Well, I wonder what's going on there. Well, Musk, ketamine, there's some advantages to it. He fired back. He said Trump would have lost the election without him. Probably true. But, facts are facts. Like the kids say, it's the receipts. All right. So then he doubled down and called for the impeachment. He said yes when somebody said Trump should get impeached. That's what it is. Then Musk really started throwing down. He said, in the light of the president's statements about cancellation of my government contracts at SpaceX, we will be decommissioning the Dragon spacecraft immediately. Now, this would have a devastating effect for the International Space Station and NASA itself, because according to SpaceX, and I don't know, I haven't seen anything contrary to it, the Dragon spacecraft is the only spacecraft currently flying that is capable of returning significant amounts of cargo and human beings back to Earth, right? You remember when we had that little problem where Boeing, they sent their astronauts up there? Don't worry about it. You're going to be back in 5 days, and they were there for 9 months. It was actually the Dragon spacecraft that went up to the International Space Station and saved them, brought them back. Okay, right? And I'll tell you this, I wouldn't want to be in a Boeing vehicle. I mean, Elon's an idiot, but he's building a hell of a lot better spacecraft than Boeing is, right? So, now let's get to the bigger bombshell that you've all heard. He started dropping tweets about the Epstein thing. Now, for all of you who don't know, I'm sure you do though, Jeffrey Epstein was a serial pedophile, rapist. He recruited with Giselle Maxwell young women to come to his island, to his mansions in New York and Miami, and sleep with his wealthy friends. The rumored names were even Bill Clinton, but the most prominent at this moment was President Trump, Donald Trump, right? He hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, when the scandal broke, he didn't have anything. I barely ever met him. Of course, there's a lot of pictures. There's a lot of receipts, as they say. Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide, awaiting federal charges in a New York cell in 2019. And for once, I'm going to give a little street cred to the right-wing conspiracy people who thought he was killed in prison. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have any proof of it, but it sure makes a hell of a lot of sense. Trump was the president. Trump couldn't afford him to go to trial. Right? Hey, Trump, why don't you just give that guy a pardon too? Just say he was there January 6th. Oh, that hadn't happened yet. I get so far ahead of myself. We can only look into the future, right? Give him a little parole for January 6th, right? But Elon said, time to drop the really big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Now, Trump said during the campaign of last year that he was going to release the Epstein files. Oh, shocking. He hasn't. He did the Kennedy one, which actually had nothing in there. So why isn't he releasing it? He could have released them in 2019, 2019, or 2020, or this year, but he hasn't. Oh, wow. I wonder what's going on. And I'm going to give you another bit of conspiracy J, and I think there's some truth here. Okay? Now, him and Trump were best buddies. But do you think that Trump really, honestly, told him, hey, I was banging 16-year-old girls, I was banging 15-year-old girls on this private island in the mansion in Miami? Yeah, he's not telling him that. Okay? Trump's stupid. We saw that by the Access Hollywood comments about grabbing girls by the genitals. Okay? He didn't know he had a hot mic there. All right, whatever. He's learned, right? But he's not going to tell Elon what goes on, right? Now, because you're the smartest audience in the world, I'm going to tell you something that pieced it together for me today. Remember when Elon came in and all us liberals and all us Democrats were so aghast because he was collecting data. He went into the IRS. He went into the Treasury. He was getting data from Social Security. He is trying to make it in one place, which is absolutely a stupid goddamn idea. All right? It is literally the stupidest goddamn idea ever. To give you a little backdrop, when Nazi Germany was on the roll, they went into Netherlands. And how did they round up all the Jews? Because they had everything at one single database. They had their incomes, their nationality, their ethnic origin, their religion. Okay, there he is. 1452 Main Street. Let's go pick him up. It was tougher in France because they had more separate. And ever since then, the European Union has been very stringent, very vigilant about privacy, keeping up these walls from different departments. We've done that too. We've done a very good job. Okay, until Trump comes in. And now the walls are getting torn down, and they want to make one database. You know how you stop that? You enact laws, goddamn Democrats, when you finally get some power, that you can sue people that release your data without your permission. That's how you do it. Look, at the end of the day, all the harsh words and the Chuck Schumer letters, they don't mean a goddamn thing. You can start extracting some money out of these son of a bitches, you get their attention. Straight up what it is, right? So I wonder when Elon and his little, boy band of Nazis, the Doge kids, when they were accumulating data, did they come across this? Was this something that Elon thought, I can hold this in my back pocket? If Trump wants to cancel my SpaceX contracts or he wants to get rid of EV credits, I'm going to just throw this at him. Maybe Trump didn't know about it. I mean, we know they're both corrupt. They're very powerful, very rich people. I mean, this isn't some P video in a Russian hotel, that Trump can sit there and deny. And because we didn't actually have the video, I guess that's just in the wall safe for Vladimir Putin. It is what it is, but maybe there's some receipts. And it just really looked weird. Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide, wink, wink, when Trump was president. Wow, what a shock, huh? Then Musk put the final cherry on the sundae. He said, mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. I feel like this is an X-Files. X-Files was one of my favorite TV shows ever. And Mulder and Scully were always searching for the truth. Their thing was the truth is out there. Maybe it is here. But Musk repeated inquiries by the media asked, how did he get access to this information? Because they had access to everything, and Trump never saw what was coming. It's called blackmail, straight up. And look, whether it's Republican or whether it's Democrat, they're all blackmailing each other. I mean, I grew up in a time where Gary Hart, who's going to be probably the presidential nominee, got caught on a boat with his mistress, Donna Rice, in Miami. I think it was the monkey business. Then, in 2008, the frontrunner for the Democratic nomination was John Edwards. And it's funny, the other day I was going through some old drawers and I had a John Edwards bumper sticker. I really like John Edwards. I didn't think Barack Obama had a chance. And then we find out, he has a mistress, he's got a kid, he's, this Mr. I'm a family guy, just another bunch of bullshit. And look, the Democrats do it just like the Republicans do. Let's not sit here and go, oh, the Democrats are holier than thou. That's bullshit. Straight up is. Okay? people are flawed on both sides. There is Republicans who are very good people. And like I have said a million times, and I will say a million more, I have mostly Republican people in my ecosystem. I do not agree with their political philosophy. I do not agree with their political bent, but I will tell you this. I will go to the mat for all of them because they are damn good people. They are honest, they are honorable, whatever. I don't understand how we got such a wide divide in looking at the world, but whatever. I can't adjudicate that. And I don't really care to. Next week I'm going to have lunch with two of my best friends. They're both hardcore Republicans. And we are going to have a great time. We're not going to talk about politics because it just doesn't get anywhere. I'm not going to change their mind, and they sure in the hell ain't going to change mine. But you know what? There's very few people I enjoy hanging out with more than Bill and Eric. They are just salt of the earth type people. Amazing human beings. All right. That's it. I know it's just one. We're going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to have some more stories. I got my vice presidential candidate, Crystal, sent me a nice story. We are going to delve into tomorrow. But if you could, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, if you're feeling risque, tell me what you like in the comments. Do you like 3 or 4 different stories and, whatever I think about? Or do you like one story that maybe we go a little more into depth? I don't know. All right. If you could, though, please have a good weekend. Have a beautiful Friday. I love you all. We're in this together. We're going to win because we're on the side of right. We're on the side of good, and we're fighting for democracy. We're fighting for our kids, and we're fighting for our kids' kids. We're fighting for our brothers and sisters, moms and dads, and we're going to win because we're on the side of right. All right. I love y'all, and we'll see you soon on the Scorched Earth.